see people or look for people. Do you know anything about that?
I just really think that our culture and society has it all wrong when it comes to dating. You're supposed to, be romantic, and you're supposed to do all these romantic things.
Yes, you're supposed to.
And the culture says, do everything before you get married. Like,
Yeah.
move in together. Buy a house together. Just, you got to try it on for size
Yeah.
before you get married. But I feel that can take a lot of the fun out of marriage, and because God didn't design it that way.
Yeah.
God designed it, for us to be pure, for us to also, not really cohabitate, not become one until we actually get married. And so, if you're married and you've already, lived together, bought your house, picked out your curtains, done all that stuff, I kind of feel like, well, what's the excitement about getting married? Is just the wedding, just the wedding celebration?
Yeah, that's true. It takes a lot of the fun out of it, or excitement, or there's nothing new about it. There's nothing special about it, I think.
Yeah.
And as somebody who is a 2-year-old Christian, 39 years old, I've been doing everything, and it hasn't worked out for me. So that's not entirely, that doesn't work.
So let's talk about the right way to court. What we have learned on, what's the right way to go
How about you
dating?
talk about it, because I have no idea.
Johnny's learning this morning too.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know nothing about this subject.
Well, I'm 31 and it's taken me this long too to realize how do you actually go about dating as a Christian. And I think one of the best ways is to maintain a friendship with someone. Because that's ultimately, after all the romance, after all your looks fade, after the pounds get on, after the baby comes, after, everything happens, what are you left with? And you're left with your love for God and your friendship and your love for each other, and sometimes that friendship has to get you through the times when the romance is lacking and you're going through a lull. So I just think really focusing on, let's say there's someone that's maybe a prospect, and going out to coffee with them, just kind of keeping it as casual as you can for the first few dates, and then maybe moving on into going to dinner together, getting to know each other again. Also, maybe introducing them to your friends, because they are kind of just a friend at that point, you know, and so you kind of want to see, your friends know you better than you know yourself sometimes, and so they may be able to make a judgment as to, okay, this, if they see signs that okay, this guy, I recently had a friend of mine tell me that she did the exact same thing. She's an older single, and she went out on a boat ride with some people, and she said that one of the guys that she was interested in was kind of acting a little flirty with other girls, and actually behind her back took a picture of somebody's boobs. And I was like, what? This guy is supposed to be interested in you, and he's flirting, and he's taking pictures of other. No, that's a big.
So let me ask you, was she disinterested after that, or is she still interested?
She was kind of still interested.
Of course.
That's when I had to say, okay, what part of this guy looks like potential?
And as a guy, I gotta tell you, it's incredibly frustrating, because if the guy would have been a perfect gentleman, a lot of times girls lose interest.
Yeah.
I think, don't they?
That's true, and I want to talk about that too, because girls do, you can lose interest with a guy who you feel is just not exciting, he's not dangerous, he's not, maybe he doesn't make all the money in the world, maybe he doesn't dress up in nice suits. I've been there, done that, and so, the one thing I can say is that when you're courting and you're kind of taking it at that slow friendship level, you have time to develop and really see who's this person inside. Because I know that in my relationship at the beginning, I wasn't totally awed, oh my gosh, this guy is the most amazing thing ever. But we just continue to kind of hang out casually, and he knows that,
Okay.
But then I was able to really see who he was as a person, without necessarily all the romance and those things that can cloud our judgment. And I was like, okay, I think this is, I think I really do like this guy.
He's putting in some work.
Exactly. But that's a private joke. We might share it a later broadcast. But I just think that keeping the friendship and keeping it, real generic for as long as you can the best way to go about dating. And even now, we try to keep that, that friendship going, and try not to put ourselves in position, in compromising positions, being one-on-one, late at night.
Well, that's another thing we were talking about. Again, I'm a 2-year-old Christian. But before, girls would say something like, come over, spend the night, we won't do anything. And guys will say, okay, yeah, we'll do that. But our agenda is to do, to do something. And most guys, it'd be really hard just to lay there and just not think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was complaining because I've heard girls say, well, we want it too, but girls, there's just something about us guys. It's like we're just very vulnerable to that aspect. I think more so than girls. Girls don't understand that sometimes.
That's true. I didn't understand that for a long time when I was trying to, when I recommitted to purity and I was trying to be pure in my relationships. I didn't realize, like, I can't spend the night with somebody. I can't lay on the couch all cuddled up because that, the male body is made differently. Just that's a plain fact, and it's we as women have to be mindful that we have to, dress modestly. That we can't.
It's summertime here in Texas.
It is.